Hello viewer, welcome back to 54A again. Now the other day I bought an eccentric and spiralling chuck from Axminster Tools, and I've been having a little play with it, just trying to get used to it. This is by no means a complete review of it. There's so much you can do with it, but this is just to show you basically how I'm getting going with it. And I've done a couple of things with it which I'll show you in a minute, but first a shout out. There's a guy just started doing videos, and very good woodturner, and his name's Stephen Watson, and his YouTube is called Stephen's 8x6 Workshop, and that's 8 foot by 6 foot. It's a tiny little thing, very tiny little shed, and he's got it so well organised, every inch of space is used to perfection. And this guy's got some great turning ability and a fantastic sense of humour, and you've really got to go and have a look at his channel, and perhaps you can subscribe to him as well. Lovely chap, and I'll put a link down in the description below. So Stephen's 8x6 Workshop. Okay, what was I saying? Right, first thing I did with this little spiralling chuck, just a bit of practice on a scrap piece of wood, and that's what I ended up with. So I've got the effect. You can imagine that's sort of goblet. I just did like the base of it just to give me an idea, and then did some steps, and it came out really good. So I haven't finished it off. It was just the very first piece I did just to see what it can do. So then I got a bit more confident, and I found a piece of old oak. It's not the best wood in the world, a bit brittle, but I managed to do this. Again, I haven't finished it off too well, but I wanted to do the method, and that's working out quite good. It'll do loads of stuff, this will, but I'll show you the components of the thing first. Right, you've got these components. You've got this ring, which is sort of mortised or dovetailed to fit in the jaws of your chuck nicely, and you've got a series of holes which will give you the offset. If I turn it over, you've got two screws. One is the pivot point, which you just loosen off slightly, then you can move round and drop the other one in whatever one you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 different offsets you can have on it, and then you just drop your screw in to whatever you want, and you're away. The other piece consists of this, so a mounting block, which has got little slots in it. Get a bit closer for you. 12 little slots in it. Now that fits onto your block of wood, 3 screws. When you've done that, on here there's a little nipple, you can see, and that just fits in to one of those slots. So when you want to index something, first of all you'll do your offset, get it whatever, just take that out, whatever offset you want, like so, and then when you want to index it, you just loosen the big screw, which is there, which will be in the middle there, just loosen it off about a turn. It enables you to lift this up, move it round, and there you go. It's indexed. You've got 12, yeah, you can see them there, 12 little lines there showing you where you're going. You just lift it up, turn it around, slot it in. I've put a little arrow on there so I know I'm always going to go in the same direction. Just did it with a little marker pen. So those are basically the components for it. Very well made. Lovely bit of machined work there. And of course you get your own keys with it. You have to provide your own wood screws. Obviously that's up to you which ones you use. So that's about it. I'm going to pop it on the lathe now and see if I can make some sort of pattern with it. Right, I've very roughly rounded it off to a couple of flat bits, but it doesn't matter for this exercise. Now I'm just going to put a little, about 15mm wide circle on here. That will give me a reference line. Now apparently what I've got to do now, loosen the pivot off, just half a turn. Get the camera up for you. That's it. Loosen the pivot off, take that one out and then offset it. Now I'm going to move this to, you can see the row of them there. I'm going to move it to the second one in. Tighten that back up. And tighten the pivot one back up. Now I've got the whole thing offset. Now this is the only time you'll need to move that, the rest will be done by indexing. So hopefully now if I switch the lathe on I should have a ghost ring. Which I have. Wonders will never cease. Now I want to put a little groove on that ghost ring. I'll mark it first just so you can see it a bit better. It's just intersecting that. Could have gone out a little bit, but it doesn't matter because that inner circle will disappear eventually. A little pointed skew chisel. I'm just going to use the point and make a groove. That's my first groove. Now I've got to remove the whole thing from the chuck. This is where the indexing comes in. You can see the lines. There's 12 index lines. So loosen the central screw out. A couple of turns should do it. And you pull that away, move it around one, drop it back in again, tighten it up. And back on the chuck. See, this is what I think is a bit fiddly, but I can't see of another way of it being done with this equipment anyway. Other makers might have come up with another idea, and a lot of people make their own. Let's have a look. Yep, I can see the line, the ghost line I've created by putting that little groove in. So the next one should come about sort of there. So it just catches that there roughly. Oops. There you go. And it's as simple as that. It seems to work alright. I say there's 12 indexing slots, so you do the same now to the remaining 11, which is take it out of the chuck, loosen the central screw, lift and move it round one and tighten up again. Back in the chuck. And then you do your next groove, and I'll see you when I've done all 12, because it's exactly the same repetitive things. So see you in a bit. Just one thing, if you can't see the ghost line without putting a pencil mark on, as soon as you've offset it, every one of these circles is going to intersect around there somewhere. It's a good starting point. So if you just sketch yourself a little line, it hasn't got to be spot on, at least you know then you've got a rough idea, and you'll be able to see that when you turn the lathe on. See? And that's the one you go for till you've done 12. Right, I've got all 12 done. It's only rough. I've centralised it again now. I'm just going to take that original ring, put a little groove in there now. Get the old compressor. That's it, that's not bad for a first attempt. That's a question of sanding it off. You can put some gilding cream or something on it. I think I'll just round this off properly so it looks a bit better now. Well, for a first attempt, that's not bad at all. It is slightly off. I did miss one of the lines slightly and it sent it out, but a bit of practice, I think I'll get there. I just put a bit of gilt cream in there and just sanded it off roughly so it highlights the pattern a bit more. But on the whole, very pleased. Well, I've just been messing around with it again, and I've ended up with a triangular piece of wood. So the possibilities are endless with this, I tell you. I did this quite easily actually. Everything's centralised, and then I rounded off a piece, obviously, offset it as I did with the pattern piece, and then instead of just moving the indexing points, hang on, I'll get the camera. That's better. Instead of moving these indexing points 1, there's 12 of them, so I moved it 4. Hit it with the chisel, moved it another 4, hit it with the chisel and moved it another 4. That gave me this triangular shape. Don't know, I'm going to polish it, but still, be good to do a triangular box actually. So there's, you know, something else I can do with it. It's quite a versatile piece of kit, but it's going to take a lot of practice. So if you do get one of these, make sure you've got lots of scrap bits of wood you can practice on. That's about it. Yep, so there you have it, viewer. The eccentric and spiralling chuck first impressions. Can't give you a really proper review because I haven't had enough practice with it. But it's one of those things that it's going to take a lot of practice. But for these few things I've done, say that I did this little practice piece that I showed you. That's the first time I'd ever used the chuck at all, which gave me the confidence to have a go at this one, which turned out a lot better. So it's the second time I'd ever used the chuck. This is the first pattern I've ever tried, so it went a little bit wrong, but basic ideas there. That's fine. That'll make a lovely top of a box. And this triangle which I sort of come across accidentally. So I dare say there's lots of shapes and sizes, shapes and patterns you can do with this thing. Just needs a lot more practice on my half, but it's something I'm going to enjoy having a play with. So that's the little video on what I've done so far with it, and hope you enjoyed it. I've had fun messing around with this, and I dare say you'll see it popping up in one or two of the future videos. So there you go, viewer. Thank you very much for watching again, and please like, share and subscribe. And thanks to all my subscribers. The figures now, they're unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And thanks very much. See you soon. Bye.